Hunters, the fog is lifting in the markets. The US shutdown is moving towards the exit door, and inflation data is on the radar this week. So while others are focusing on headlines, what are we doing? We're looking at the opportunities in the market, and we're looking at where we can position our capital. I've already taken a few trades today, and I will be taking further trades this week with the setups I'm seeing. So let's get right into the analysis and discuss where the markets are. Right, so here's what's important in the markets. We're going to do a quick market snapshot. We have stocks climbing on bets for the shutdown to end, okay? And when will it end? I read the whole article. I'll be able to explain to you. There's talks about this ending around mid-November, and I think that mid-November period is very, very important because we have Nvidia earnings, we have FOMC minutes coming out next week as well, and a number of other key economic data to support a potential resurgence in the market, or maybe a flash crash, a dip in the markets like I've covered in previous shows. Second point here to cover is with official data delayed, we have to navigate in a blind place, essentially, okay? So what that means is that the data hits, it will move markets harder. Okay, so when the data will hit us, it will move the markets harder. And this could be on the positive side, it could be on the negative side. So we just have to monitor where we think the data will come in and be quite cautious leading up to the data being released. Okay, so that's something to monitor here. But the indicators are quite good, and this article kind of covers that. All right, the next one is inflation data. I'll just talk about this really quickly. Inflation data remains a wild card, I think, this week. The next consumer price index is scheduled and could force the Federal Reserve's hands. Okay, so that's something important to focus on. I think this article here covers it. I just have to look at whether I was able to open the article. Let's have a look. No, I think the article wasn't opened here. But essentially, we have to watch that. And then finally, for me, liquidity is much lower because of Veterans Day and the shutdown effect. So again, that means that when volumes come in, it will punch harder. So two factors here where the market might be moving at a accelerated pace in whichever direction it decides to go in. At the moment, it's a bit of a 50-50, leaning towards the bullish side with that bounce that we've had since Friday. And when the volume comes in, number one, because of the increase of liquidity, and we have the data coming out, the delayed data coming out. Employment data was delayed last week. If we have inflationary data delayed this week, then whenever that data comes out, it will hit harder and it will give us a nice push in whichever direction. Now, couple this with the US shutdown ending, include into this as well as a catalyst Nvidia earnings, and then include FOMC minutes where we get some clarity about whether December will be a month that interest rates are reduced or they're kept the same. I think it's going to be a big month, guys. November is the key month for me. It has always been the key month, and we should monitor it with great care. So what am I looking for here, and what are my insights when we're factoring all of these in? If the shutdown ends now, the data comes back and yields spike, banks and cyclicals will accelerate. Okay, so that's something that I'll be monitoring. If inflation comes in hotter than expected, the dollar up, growth stocks suffer, and value and commodities get the bid. So they'll be increasing. So we'll be looking at value and commodities there. If liquidity remains weak, then the first sector to move becomes the signal, not the laggard. Okay, so if the liquidity continues to be weak, we have to look at the first sector that moves. That's something I'll be watching. That's why we have to stay sharp and focused in the markets. And that's why as a trader, I don't wait for triggers. I look for these key signs and I try and find the best opportunities before the market moves. Okay, so with that covered, I want to go into what I'm looking at today as a key opportunity. One of the trades that I took was American Eagle Outfitters. I felt this one was quite good. I'll make some drawings here really quickly. We had this area here, which broke out today. We had a nice upward trend, which even if we retest and bounce off would be quite nice. And we had this break here and the break around this level, which I felt was a key shift. Around this level was a key high momentum, high probability trade that I could take. And we ended up entering this this morning on open on this trade for potential 1 to 2, maybe a little bit higher if this pushes up a bit higher. This is more a portfolio add rather than a let's say a trade that will make us a 1 to 7, 1 to 10, 1 to 20. It's not that type of industry, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, we have this this trend line here. I'm not drawing these properly, but there you go, something like that, which is holding up here. And I feel like this is the second wave here after this breakout as well. So we had maybe this initial move. We had a bit of a consolidation break, enter. We can now enter maybe a new phase in this move, okay? So American Eagle looks pretty good in my opinion. That's the first idea that I have. I also was looking at PL. I'll show you guys why I think it's quite nice. I think you can kind of figure out here with this consolidation here, but I've had some drawings from before, but what I'll do is I'll hide this, not hide the drawings, I'll remove the drawings, remove 15 drawings, okay? And we'll remove that. And I'll start sketching out what I think is very important here. Dip, support, 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 multiple supports around this level, a descending trend line, which has been breached today. And then we have this key area here. Now, if we can break this, then we have a huge potential for that move back to all-time highs. And that gives us a potential 1 to 2, depending on how tight you go on stop loss. I'll probably go a little bit tighter, but 1 to 2, maybe a little bit higher if it moves up higher. I think it's quite a nice idea here. It's a software sector. I was looking at some other ideas in the software sector like ZS and MongoDB. Those have moved pretty well today, but I didn't take any trades. I think what is it? I think it's MDB. I might be wrong, but I think it might be that. And so maybe that will also move in the same way. Okay. That's the second idea. Now, other ideas I have are in crypto, and I'm going to share maybe 2 ideas here in crypto. There is HBAR, which I quite like, XRP. Trump moved today, and that was on my list since Sunday. I just didn't share it on the channel. I ended up sharing it in the Discord group. So this is why I recommend that you guys join the Discord group. You'll be able to see all of my ideas there. I can't share all of them on these videos. The videos will become unbelievably long and boring for the viewers. Okay, so we have support. I initially thought that this move would happen. And in reality, we've had an even better move. I'll explain to you why. So fake breakout comes back down, retest here, comes back up, break around this zone. I'll just draw it a little bit better. Where is it? My hand's not drawing it properly. There you go. Break. We could have entered here. That was the initial move I was looking for. Break here. Now, if we can get a little bit of a dip and a bounce, that could be a key trigger point. And I'll just draw for you guys the risk-reward ratios on this. Potentially here, maybe a 1 to 2 as well. Maybe if we go a little bit tighter, 1 to 3, 1 to 4. Looks quite nice. And then, if this ends up being a weekly move, a long-term swing trade, then we can go back to all-time highs for 1 to 5. So HBAR is pretty nice. XRP is in a similar situation, and I think that's quite nice as well. Overall, I think the market is looking pretty decent, and there's these 3 opportunities I like. Hopefully this has given you something that you can trade moving into tomorrow. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe and comment. Comment below with any ideas that you guys have or anything that you want me to look at. I would only cover it on the channel and in the video if it's worthwhile. If I think I want to trade it, I will cover it. But share it below. Let me know what you think of all the ideas I shared and where you think the market will go. What do you think the impact of US shutdown ending will be? Will it be positive? Will it be negative? All these things. Share them with me. I'm curious what you think. And then, of course, like I said, subscribe. And if you want to join the Discord group to get more ideas throughout the day, I've given today maybe about 6 or 7 ideas there. If you want to get more ideas, there is a link in the description of this video. Click on that link, join, try it out, see if you enjoy the information or if you like the information I give and find value there. And that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.